Good afternoon, class. So today is 14th of January, and we will have to cover the current affairs of today. And the first news is related to I think the terror financing that India is currently propagating against Pakistan at United Nations Security Council and whatever the background of that particular information is. So let us jump straight to the article. The first one is the terror trail. Now, what is the crux of this particular article is regarding the action that the Pakistan is basically taking against the terrorists that are actually present in uh, the state of or in the inland of Pakistan. Now, what is the issue here? I think you all know that recently there has been statement that has been released by Mr. Jaishankar at United Nations Security Council, and when he was present at United Nations Security Council, he talked about or he tried to convene to the other members of the other countries who are in United Nations Security Council that there are three basic things that we need to do. First of all, what he did, he said that we need a basic definition of terrorism, and there should not be distinction between the good terrorism and the bad terrorism that the world has often been indulgent. And terrorism anywhere that is conducted on any part or any section of the country should be regarded as the same, and it should not be differentiated into a good terrorism or a bad terrorism. The second, he says that there are other issues in which the terrorism is currently surfacing. For example, he gave some example that the traditional ways are money laundering, then we have drugs, afterwards we have wildlife in which the money is being smuggled from one country to another. But he cautioned the world community on this particular fact that the digital platforms, more probably the Bitcoin and all the currencies that are currently operating in the world scenario, have posed a new kind of challenge for prevention of the money laundering. Secondly, he have said a close coordination between the United Nations Security Council and FATF and Asia Pacific Joint Group. Now, what are these FATF and Asia Pacific Joint Group, and why India want to link it with the United Nations Security Council? When we talk about this particular issue, the United Nations Security Council has been suggested by Mr. Jaishankar that FATF is a Financial Action Task Force. The Financial Action Task Force has two-way objective. The first objective is basically to prevent the money laundering, and second is prevent the terrorist financing. So what he has suggested to the United Nations Security Council that the time has come now for a close coordination between United Nations Security Council and FATF. So these are the two things that are needed to be understood, and probably this was targeted at Pakistan because Pakistan is basically in the grey list. So India is also raising the issue of terrorist financing or destruction of the safe havens with respect to the Zakir Rahman Lakwi and Masood Azhar. So I hope you remember they have been arrested in the recent times, but India have rebuffed back to these particular actions that are taken by Pakistan that these are half-hearted approach and no further conclusion will be come to those persons who have been arrested in the terror financing charges, and they will be out on the bail and they are kept as a chief guest or a state guest in the country of Pakistan. The final thing he have said about is with respect to the issue that is the country should stop religion and the political concerns with respect to the terrorism. Probably this was targeted against China, Turkey, Malaysia because they have prevented the blacklisting of the Pakistani country into from the grey list. So basically, what is the issue here? The issue is basically involving that these are the allies, and they have been saying that the political and religion issue with respect to definition of the terrorist financing, or if there is any form of terrorism that is being conducted from the land of any country, they need to be stopped. And there should be no distinctions or no coordination or no factors that should be guided by the religious and the political issues. So these are some of the things that has been said by Mr. Jaishankar. I hope you remember that there have been a 27-point agenda that has been submitted. The 27-point agenda has been given by FATF, and FATF is hoping that this particular issue or this particular thing is providing main, or you can say a rebuffal to the things that are there with respect to the terrorism. I hope this is clear. The next one is the final blow. Now, what is this? The final blow. So this is the restriction on Cuba. Now, what is the history of Cuba and USA? So I hope you remember in Cuba, Cuba is generally called as the sugar bowl of the world. The sugar bowl of the world was once ruled by Fidel Castro, and Fidel Castro was a communist. His idea was to do two things. The first thing he wanted to do is to make Cuba the major sugar exporter of the world, and secondly, to invite major FDI from outside countries for the development of his own people or his own country. However, he was not able to do, and there have been skirmishes between USA and Cuba. Now, Cuba was a close ally of USSR, so generally they allowed their land to be filled up with the missiles or the nuclear missiles that were planted by USSR on the Cuban land. Now, please see where the country of Cuba is located. You must know where this country is located. It is located in Caribbean, and Caribbean is between North America and South America. So you will find this particular country over here. Now, you are providing nuclear bases to a country that is in the Cold War, that is in the neighborhood of America. So America automatically felt threatened. You must also see there was a misfire of a particular missile during the communist regime or the Cuban crisis that is currently called as. So there is a video on YouTube, I think you will generally found it, by the name of Cuban crisis. See what was behind Cuban crisis. Now from that point onwards, there have been certain things that are ongoing with Cuban, and the US was hopeful that if the maximum pressure approach will be applied on Cuba, Cuba have to take certain trade and certain inputs from USA, which will actually lend them, as it will stop their trade and stop their money. So the Cuba will be under pressure to make a negotiations with United States of America. But United States of America did not realize that how strong the Cuban, or you can say the Cuban Communist Party was. So what they did a negotiate with the American authorities, and they still remain in the same issues. Now, what is the last thing that Mr. Trump have done? Now, Mr. Trump is basically put on more restriction or have accused Cuba as the sponsor of the terrorism, because they have taken some of the fugitives or some of the people who have run from USA and they have settled in Cuba, and there are some people who are accused of basically creating havoc in the state of Colombia. Colombia is located in South America, and below that there is Venezuela. So these are the two things that are currently happening over there. So they have designated them as a terrorist organization. Now, what is the purpose behind designation of a terrorist not a terrorist organization, but is a terrorist country? Now, there are 3 other countries by the United States of America who have been designated as the sponsor of terrorism. These are Iran, North Korea, and Syria. And this probably would include more fresh sanctions that could be provided on the Cuban country, and would create a lot of trouble for this particular small country that is currently reeling under pressure. Now, there are other things that the Cuba had to see. Now, Cuba had good relations with Colombia because they are providing for a peacemaking process there. Now, in that peacemaking process, there is a possibility that an amicable solution between the rebels of the country in Venezuela and between the, you can say, administration over there, so that a smooth functioning of the affairs could be done, or a peace deal or a mediation can be brought to a complete justice. But what USA want that the Cuba should not provide safe havens to the persons who have fled from Colombia, so that there would be no negotiations. Basically, they want to basically isolate them in the Caribbean also. So that does not follow the policy of the, you can say, whatever the Cuban foreign policies towards its neighbor. So right now it is bearing the brunt of the sanctions that are imposed by USA for time immemorial now, and they will be basically looking for an alternative way to see through the sanctions that are imposed by Mr. Trump. So I hope this is clear. The next news is related to the farm laws, their constitution validity and hope. Now, what is the issue here? First of all, this person have talked about the situation that is currently. Then he talked about that it was not in the accordance of the Rajya Sabha rules, because from Rajya Sabha it was passed without a division of the vote. What is a division of vote? We will understand. And then there is option before the judiciary. Now, please understand, there are 3 articles that are in question here. The first article is Article 100, the second article is Article 107, and the third article is 122. First of all, let us talk about what are the objective here. So under Article 100, that if there is any question in any sitting of either of the house, they shall be determined by the majority of the votes of the members who are present and voting. This is what has been said under Article 100. So if there is a bill that is coming to the House, if majority of the members are voting in the favor of the bill, then it will be provided a type of a cushion by Article 100. Then there is Article 107. So Article 107 says, if Article 100, first of all, what is the crude definition of Article 107? So everything that is there, the chair under Article 107, if the chair is requested for a division of a vote, it is the responsibility of the chair to provide the division of the vote. This is Article 107. Now, the last article, that is 122, that is any proceeding of the House will be away from the intervention by the judiciary. That is, it is away from the judicial review. This is what we understand under Article 120. I hope you understand. Article 100 is any decision that will be taken shall be taken by a majority of vote. Article 107 says that whenever a particular person demands a division of a vote, what is a division of vote? We will come to that. But the division of vote, if any person demand within the member of the parliament, within the House of the Parliament, whichever member demands, the chair is mandated to basically provide that particular person a video recording of the vote that are being done. And finally, there is Article 122 that provides for that all the decisions that will be taken should be away from the purview of the judiciary. Now, what he says that first of all, when Rajya Sabha was there, the bill was passed by a voice note. And when the voice note, even the division was asked, the deputy chairman at the particular time did not provide it for the division, even if the member was vehemently asking for it. And they were not catered to the request that they were actually making. And therefore, that it is unconstitutional. If the Supreme Court have to strike it down, then the Supreme Court strike it on the basis of the constitutionality of the law. Now, whether it will uphold in the court, we do not know, because under Article 122, there are still restrictions on the conduct of the elections or on anything that is happening within the House of the Parliament for the judiciary to intervene. So we will have to wait and see how this particular judiciary will be reacting to this particular part. So I hope this is clear. There's nothing in this other article. You must remember only the three things that I have told you. The next one is the mediating the farmer protest is a difficult terrain. Now, if the top court does not find itself mandated by a higher public duty to intervene, then it must observe some essentials. Now, what are these essentials? First of all, if top court does not find itself mandated by a higher public duty, then there are some forms that are needed essential. So what does Shriram Panchu says? Basically, he says all the things. The problem with the farm laws is not the content of the farm laws, but the trusteeship of the central government. The people does not trust the central government that if they are doing something or if they ought to do something, the MSP that is in question, that is the minimum support price, which the farmers has been demanding for the last 50 days, has not been given assurance by the central government. And maybe even if they have agreed to provide a written assurance of the MSP to the farmers are not relenting, because they want they want the rollback of all the three laws that are enacted by the parliament. Now, what is the issue here? So the committee is being made. We have already talked about this particular committee. That is a welcome move, but the committee can only be impartial and transparent if it is free from any bias or even the near closeness of the persons who are appointed into the committee to any of the affiliations or any of the thing to any of the party who are currently a part to the dispute. So you want a dispute settler, but that particular dispute settler cannot be biased up to a 1% limit. So there are some people who have already recused themselves. For example, we have seen the one member, forgot his name, but he was from the Sikh community. He have already made a statement when he recused himself from the 3-member committee that was appointed by the Supreme Court of India to look into the issues that the farmers were actually protesting for. So he have said that I am already with the farmers. Now there are 2 other persons who are in the committee who are basically belonging to the government side, and they have not recused, although they have justified themselves on the television that yes, they have written an article with respect to the support to the farm laws, but whenever they will be conducting their business in the committee, it will be away or beyond the party lines, and they will try to reach a negotiations or a final settlement with respect to the farm laws, how the farmers want it and what the government intentions are. So I hope this is clear. Further moving on, there is good news today for the defense sector. I think, but before that, no, this is so Cabinet Committee on Security. Please see what does the Cabinet Committee do. So, what is the objective of the Cabinet Committees? The Cabinet Committee basically take day-to-day decisions on how to regulate the affairs of the government. So, therefore, there are different Cabinet Committee. For example, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, Cabinet Committee on Security. Then we have a Cabinet Committee on Home Affairs. These are some of the things, or Cabinet Committee on Technical Education or Education. These are some of the committees that are existing. Now, the Indian Navy has been demanding a certain number of fighter airplanes because the presence of the Chinese has been increasing. We have recently found some of the Chinese aggressions that are currently happening in the Indian Oceans, and there have been some a type of a sea trawler that has been found at the bottom of the sea in the Sea of Philippines. So there are countries who are on alert now. Indian Navy is also on alert, and Indian Navy has been asking for a large capital boost to replace the old aircrafts that it is currently having. Now, in this background, the Air Force has been granted by Cabinet Committee on Security Affairs a 47,000 crore deal that will be manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and will be provided to Indian Air Force for rupees 47,000 crore. Now, please understand this is Mk1A variant. The Navy and Air Force both are demanding, but this has been allotted to the Air Force. The Navy has also been demanding. They have recently got P-81, the surveillance plane over the Indian Ocean, and maybe their requirements are basically with respect to the aircraft carriers that they're wanting, and they are also looking for the Hornet that is basically developed in USA and would be fit for the Indian Navy for a short takeoff and landing site. Now, what is the important thing about this particular deal? That is CCS, why they have approved this. The Tejas is a light compact aircraft, and 83 will be ordered, 73 will be the Mk1 aircraft, and 10 LCA will be Mk1 trainer. So there will be 10 trainers, and there will be 73 Tejas that fighters will be added. Now, what are the important thing about this? The important thing about this is indigenization. So what is indigenization? Indigenization is basically increasing the content of the domestic market in the products that we are having. So the private industry will act as a system integrator, because there are 550 vendors, because we have already seen the government is focusing on the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and under Atmanirbhar Bharat the government is also routing that particular idea to the defense sector. It can also be routed into the you can say other sectors of the government that are there. For example, in the automobile sector, the Atmanirbhar Bharat could be included, but it could cause huge harm in the market. So therefore, it is not currently advisable to do so. So that is one of the things you should remember. And please remember, this could be the flag bearer of the Indianization in India. I hope this is clear. The next one is the BSF Unearthed Tunnel in Jammu. So this is a 30 feet deep and 150 meter long cross-border tunnel found in Jammu. And this is the third such tunnel found in November. Now, what is the purpose of coming in November? Because since November. What is the purpose of coming in this particular time? Because at the borders, as there are high level of snow that is available, so you can only come to India if you have to cross borders by the route of tunnel in the lower areas. In the higher areas, we have hills, so there are large number of trees over there, so you can hide behind the tree, take the shade, and then you cross the border. But in the lower region, you will only have to get through the tunnels that are present in the border in Jammu or off the side of Jammu. The next one is the adultery law must stay for military. This is set by government. Now, SC bench have referred the petition to Chief Justice of India. What is the problem here? Plus, please understand, under Article 497, if a woman was engaging in sexual conduct away from her husband with any other person, then or without the consent of the husband, then that will be called as adultery. But the male can be only prosecuted under adultery and not the woman. So the objections were on the both sides. The women were accusing the law that it is only male-centric, that only female can commit adultery and not the males. The second issue was from the male side that only the cases can only be filed against the male. So this petition has came to the Supreme Court, who have heard both the situation of the male and female. So the Supreme Court have given a secular decision, or they have generally talked about that our society is far beyond the gender biases that existed in the earlier patriarchal society. We are a reformed, more transformational society. And at this particular juncture, we find that any person who is indulged in adultery could not be, because having sexual relation or establishing sexual relation apart from his wife cannot be termed as adultery. It is their personal choice. If they feel that they do not want to be in a relationship, then adultery is no excuse to put cases against one another. If you feel the trust is broken, the marriage cannot exist, and if the marriage cannot exist, the adultery seems improbable in this particular condition. So therefore, they have struck down the section 497 of the Constitution, of the IPC, not the Constitution. And in that particular thing, now adultery is, if you commit adultery and you get caught, you have an option to divorce the woman, but a case cannot be filed against the person who is engaged, or the other male member who is engaged in adultery with the female member on equal footing. So both will be accused of adultery, and both will be there. So what is the problem in the army regarding to that particular issue? Now in army, there is a concept, there is a strict moral code of discipline that you should not engage with the fellow colleague's wife. In any case, you will be suspended, you will be court-martialed. And secondly, the persons who are working at home and the army persons are working for long durations away from home. So there is always a concern that they might be indulged in some other form of adultery. So there are other courts that are there. Now the problem is that the adultery law or the civil law, they are regulated by their own law. So Article 33 provides that if there is a discipline law under Article 33, then Army, Navy and Air Force could be kept out of the purview of what the natural civil laws are, because this is provided under the Constitution. Now the government have submitted, the Defense Ministry have submitted basically in the code that Army, Navy and Air Force are as protected as they are protected under Article 33. So therefore, the removal of the 497 should not be kept away from the families or the persons who are related to the families who belong to the armed personnel. So I hope this is clear. The next news is related to a strong India would act as a counterbalance to China. This is a report that have leaked out from United States of America. You see the objective of United States. Now the Trump administration is getting out. So there is a US strategic primacy, what they do, what they should do. So their objective is liberal economic order to be promoting, and therefore they want to stop China and establish liberal aspects in every sphere in Indochina or in the cooperation with another countries. However, they have recognized that the immediate threat is China and they will have to contain it. The other two challenges are North Korea does not threaten US and the economic leadership should continue of the United States of America. Now, with regard to India, they have said that this is the desired end state of US strategy. That is the ends that the US want to achieve by the end of the day. India is one of the countries that is desired by United States of America. Now, why they says that? Because they need a corporation to preserve maritime security and counterbalance China's influence in the South Asia. So a bigger country is required. Therefore, they have talked about strategic corporation, military corporation and communication corporation with India on all aspects. Now, they do not want to directly engage with China, but they want to take a buffer in the form of India and create another type of a defense mechanism that could be raised in the Asian region. For example, the Asian Defense Minister Meeting Plus is one of the things that is being talked about. That is the East Asia Summit. So they want India to be part of every other part, and they are ready to provide India with the money and the soldiers and the technology that India require. And India is the major key, or you can say one of the major jigsaw puzzle in the South Asian region. This is how America views us. Now, the Act East policy is basically to foster the common principle of the resolution that is peaceful of the dispute and the transparent infrastructure debt, all these things. Then there is to counter the China Belt and Road Initiative. Then we have talked about the aims to support the Act East policy. And then we have talked about cooperation with the like-minded companies. These are some of the things they have said about. You can read this on your own. I don't think there is anything more you can debate in this. The next news is RBI forms working group on digital lending. From where the problem has started? The problem has started from the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, what happened in Andhra Pradesh? there were certain people who have taken loan online, and to pay back that loan they have paid approximately double the amount of interest that, or double the total amount of the interest that they have taken the loan amount. So if they have taken 100 rupees, they were paying 200 rupees interest, because there are no regulation on the digital lending, and this is the one field that RBI have still till date stayed away. The banks are basically not able to provide, because banks also need proof, but the online lending facilities were providing loan for a short term without any guarantee and without any collateral. So whatever be the collateral, that would be at first seems pretty minimalistic, but with increasing time and increasing issues, that have increased to a huge burden. So that have created a lot of problem. Now there is a RBI who have formed a committee on the digital lending and how to regulate the digital lending. So that is a good thing that the government is coming to the rescue of the common people and how they want to make these things work in a better way, or in a better consideration to the digital lending and how it would be beneficial for the common people, because everything is coming digital now. You can send money digital, you should also be able to take digital. So that is not a step back as they have taken in the case of Bitcoin, but that is a step forward which will help in providing a better facility to the larger scale of people. So that is it for today. फिर कल मिलते हैं.